Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I'm Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. And we're going to do that with these I am cards. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to pull a card off the deck. I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to say out loud, I am. As we say these things out loud, we are convincing ourselves that they are true. Because when we hear things, when we hear ourselves say things, we tend to believe that these things are true. And that's why it's so important to say good things about ourselves. As I go through the world, I hear people say detrimental stuff about themselves all the time. Things that if we said it about other people, those would be fighting words. And yet somehow it's socially acceptable to say it about ourselves. Somehow when we say things about ourselves that are mean or nasty or just not completely not true, that the people around us will glom onto that, will support that we'll get some kind of social support for saying terrible stuff about us. And that's just not any way to live life. So what we're going to do today, we're going to completely subvert that by saying nice things about ourselves, and in doing so, take control of our internal narrative. So if you were here with me yesterday, you know that I pulled cards for every single day, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull one of them, and I'm going to ask you if you are that affirmation, and we are going to affirm these things together. So let's begin by saying that today, I am happy. I am happy. I focus on what is good and elevate my state. So I am happy. I focus on what is good and elevate my state. Are you happy? You are happy. You focus on what is good and elevate your state. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write that down in the chat. As I write it down in the chat, I am making it even more real. I am happy. I focus on what is good and elevate my state. There we are. So I just want to say good morning to everybody who is here today. Good morning, Lauren and Shauna and Robert and Renee. Good to see you guys here today. Good morning, Brenda Jean. Is good to see you here as well. Yeah, we thank you guys so much for coming over here and for helping me to create a positive space on the internet today. Good morning, Grant. I see that you are here as well. Yeah, let's continue to create this positive space on the internet by affirming that we are happy and that we focus on what's good and that we elevate our state. Because in doing so, we recognize that happiness is an inside job. So many people turn to exogenous substances thinking that this is going to provide happiness. And it does provide the same chemicals as happiness for a very limited time. And yet, as those chemicals fade, oftentimes the sadness that follows is even greater than the happiness that we have experienced for such a brief moment. And so in order to be happy, we have to focus on the things that are good in our lives. We have to actually have that mindset shift, that perception shift, and recognize that there are good and amazing things in our lives. And as we focus on these things, that we get to really experience that true happiness. Because happiness is, like I said before, an inside job. Nobody else can make us happy, and we can't make anybody else happy either. And so this card is inviting us to focus on what's good in our lives and to point out what's good in other people's lives, to give them the opportunity to focus on that as well. Because as we do, we get to really multiply that happiness in the world. So I am happy today. You are happy too. And yeah, this card gives us that permission slip to really be happy, to embody it, and recognize that when we are focusing on what's good, that we can't help but be happy. We don't have to work at that happiness. We have to work on the focus, on focusing on the things that are really good and pure and beautiful in our lives. and that we get to point that out in other people's lives too. And as we do point that out in other people's lives, that perhaps they also will focus on the things that are good in their lives, and perhaps they also will experience that happiness that we're all seeking. How how many times do we buy something, or do we think about something, or do we adopt a certain mindset in order to experience that happiness? Well, the fact is that we can experience happiness even in the midst of pain, even in the midst of adversity. We can experience that happiness because we can choose what we focus on. And when we choose what we focus on, we get to then decide. The next question we have to decide is, what does that mean? And after we understand what that means, then and only then will we have an idea of how we feel about what that means. And then we can be happy. So I am happy today. You are happy too. I am really truly surrounded by happy people. It's very rare that that the folks around me are focusing on anything other than what is beautiful in their lives. And I feel like I have cultivated this wonderful group. So thank you so much for coming by with me, creating this happy space on the internet. So I will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. We're going to pick another card off of my I Am deck. And as we do, we're going to continue to go through our journey of the week. If you'd like to see all the cards that we pulled this week, I pulled them yesterday at Nightfall with Maui Paul, and we went through them just a little bit. But if you'd like to go back and review that is archived on my YouTube channel. I want to say thank you guys so very much for being here, for having fun with me today, and really for playing along with this game. It's some people are just unwilling to play it, and those people are also typically also unwilling to be happy. So we are happy today. Let's go out and make this world a better place just by being in it. And I want to say thanks for coming by. And we'll talk to you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. And we will pull another empowering affirmation. Until then, aloha from paradise.